Hello guys, it's the headphoneaddict.com here, and today we are looking at this great little machine. It's the Violectric HPA V200, HPA meaning Headphone Amplifier, V200 the model number, and Violectric the company. This is made by Violectric, by Lake people. They are based in Germany, so it's German made. The company has a history of catering to the professional audio industry, and the professional audio industry is very picky about their products, so you're getting good quality when you buy from a company like Violectric. So it doesn't have a lot of bells and whistles to it. I have owned it now for 3 months, maybe 2 or 3 months, and I bought it second hand, and I cannot for the life of me understand why the chap sold it, because it's just it's really great, guys, and I'll tell you about the sound characteristics a little later. Firstly, let's have a look at the specifications. So I'll put the specifications up here somewhere, and as you can see, it has a very low noise ratio, low total harmonic distortion, and also it is very powerful. And notice that around 50 ohms it really delivers quite the volt and quite the wattage, so it's very powerful and suits orthodynamic headphones in that range very well, as I find that orthodynamic cans like the Odysseys really perform at their best when they get a lot of power. That's also something I noticed with the Auralic Taurus MK1 headphone amplifier. So powerful little beast, very good specifications, and it also has a very low output impedance, so it suits most cans very well. So let's take a look at the rear of this unit. I'll just flip it around. Okay, so here we're looking at the rear of the unit, and as you can see, it's not really much to it. We have a pair of balanced inputs and a pair of balanced in or outputs. A little more about that later. We also have a slot for a modular USB card which supports 24-bit 96K, I believe. And so if you want one concise unit with an integrated digital to analog converter, you might want to get the optional USB card, or you can also get a coaxial card. Then this thing turns into a headphone amplifier and digital to analog converter. Mine does not have the modular USB card, but that can be bought individually. But basically I have better digital to analog converters, so I'm not in need of the integrated one here. However, as you might have already understood, I'm really fond of the Violectric HPA V200, so I would really love to try the Violectric V800. It has the same fit and finish as the V200, and it if that raises the bar on this amplifier, I would be amazed to listen to it. Okay, so balanced inputs, unbalanced in and outputs. Inside of the unit you have a jumper, and if you change the position of the jumper, these unbalanced inputs actually turn to unbalanced outputs. However, they have a constant gain, so you can't turn the unit into a preamplifier, unfortunately. That would have been a great extra feature for this, that it could be set to unbalanced outputs, and you could turn the knob to determine the volume out of these two instead of direct bypass, so the signal just goes in and out. Furthermore, we have the pre-gain switches, so if you have some really efficient low impedance in-ear monitors or something like that, you might want to lower the gain so that you have more wiggle room on the knob. And if you have some high impedance, low sensitivity headphones, you might want to raise the pre-gain so you can play it really loud. Then you might want to turn up the pre-gain. So basically, the unit is made such that you can set the pre-gain levels so it will fit all varieties of headphones. Also, the low impedance gives a very high damping factor, and that improves the bass response quite a bit, in my opinion. Okay, so here is the unit once more in front view, and let's turn on the unit to see how it power cycles. Basically, it's just touch and go, and as you can see, the LED seems to be quite bright. It's not that bright in the real life, it's quite subtle actually, and it glows beautifully blue. I would have loved red, but blue goes fine with me too. So that's basically it. Two outputs, and both can be used simultaneously without any degradation of the sound. At least I have never heard degradation of the sound. I've had one in and plugged another one in, and it's all just fine and dandy. So, do I have any criticisms? Yes, I have two criticisms. Firstly, at the rear of the unit, as you could see, there was two pre-gain switches, one for each channel, left and right. I wish there were only one pre-gain switch, which took both channels into consideration. So you wouldn't have to set the channel for both left and right. You could only set one, and you would set a pre-gain on both left and right channel. That's the first. When you remove one of those switches, you have extra space. That extra space should include a toggle switch where you can turn the unbalanced inputs on and off, or basically you can switch between input and output. So you could have a switch at the rear if you want to have the unbalanced being in output. You would switch it to output, input, input, because then you wouldn't have to open the device to set the inputs or outputs. Furthermore, I wish that it could operate as a preamplifier, so that when you used it as an output, the RCA as an output, you could adjust the volume to, say, a pair of active speakers. Now, I know that the V800 does that, and it would be great if the V200 did so as well. So, to the sound characteristics. I can explain it in a few words. Extremely spacious, dark sounding, yet crystal clear. So it's spacious, it sounds really open, really wide, really spacious, really deep, and it also sounds dark, but not with rolled off treble. The treble isn't rolled off. It's crystal clear yet dark, and that's quite unusual. I've not heard it in any other device ever before, because if you want something to sound dark, you can roll off the treble, but this doesn't have rolled off treble, yet it manages to sound dark, and that's it's really something special with the dark sound and special spacious sound and crystal clear sound. And also the bass is very well controlled, very tight, and it's almost like if you hear a note, the note kind of lingers in the ear a little bit. That's what I mean with spacious. You really have a sense of space with this beautiful little amplifier. And the bass, as I say, is extremely good. It's clear, it's tight, it's just exact, very good amplifier. So I can just say I highly recommend the Violectric V200. It's not going anywhere anytime soon, and as I said earlier, it performs well with all my three favorite headphones: the Sennheiser HD 650s, the Odyssey LCD2s, and the Denon AHD 7000s. The Denons are very efficient and have a low impedance, works great with this, no harshness whatsoever, super tight bass, punchy bass. Odyssey LCD2, extremely musical, spacious sounding, bass is exact, far extended, just phenomenally beautifully sounding. And the Sennheiser HD 650s, smoother than butter. So it's fantastic, and I really have to say that if you have the chance of listening to this, do it, because it's phenomenal.